why would you wait for the person who you trusted with every fiber of your being to take care of you and to hold you with care to come and reverse the shattering? You trusted them not to do that, but they did that. So how have they earned the right to put you back together? How have they earned the right to come and fix what they broke when they had the ability to make the choice to not break you in the first place? Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of Beyond Words with me, Nejwa Zabian. I've always been a firm believer in the power of words to heal what they didn't break and to break what they had no right in breaking. Before I begin with today's episode, I just want to say thank you. Thank you for the reception and welcome that you've given The One Who Broke You Can't Heal You. The pre-orders, the messages about the book, congratulating me, commenting on how you just can't wait to read it. By the way, so many of you asked me, will it be available as an audiobook? Yes, it is, and you actually can pre-order it right now. I will be, just like with all my other books, narrating the audiobook myself. So if you love listening to me, then that would be an option for you, and you can do it from now. I want you to know that I don't take your support lightly. Like for me, this isn't just, oh, I'm putting a book out there and it's just one other book that I wrote and, I've earned that you buy it or that you pre-order it. That's not the case at all. Every single time I get a message from you saying, thank you so much for doing this, or thank you for your words. They've saved me. They've healed me. And I get those messages every single day. I still feel so grateful that I'm in a position where this is what I'm blessed with. I never take that for granted. So don't think, oh, I'm just one person. She's not going to care if I read the book. She's not going to care if I pre-order. She's not going to care if I hype it up because I'm just one person. Every single one of you makes a difference. And every time you say, I want to read this book, or I want to listen to it, or I want to take part in spreading the message of it, you are taking part in this bigger community that we have of people who've been wronged so much and who have decided to not let that make us cold and mean or not believe in love or not believe in the goodness of the world. We've decided to set all of that aside and say, we believe there's another way. We believe in self-healing. We believe in taking responsibility over our healing. We believe in our ability to change from waiting for the people in our lives to change the way that they treat us or to come back and say, I'm so sorry, I know I hurt you in that way. We are a community of people who are so close and familiar to each other in our belief that there is a better answer than to turn cold. And that answer is authenticity, staying true to ourselves and being able to see ourselves in a different way. Yes, I've been a people pleaser my whole life, but I don't have to be that way for the rest of my life. Yes, I've been someone who waits around for the people in my life to realize what they missed out on, but I can choose today to not be that person. So every time one of you says, I want to read this, I want to contribute to this community, you're not just voting for who you are as a person, but you're voting for the kind of world that you want to live in. So thank you so much for contributing, and thank you so much for believing in our message as a whole. So that's a very long way to say thank you. I really, really appreciate every single one of you. Today's topic is one that I've been talking about since I started this work in 2016. So it's been 10 years. And every single time I talk about this topic, you guys want more. And I also want more because I love this topic so much, and it's letting go. But we're going to put a different twist on it today. I'm going to talk about 3 reasons why you can't seem to let them go. Because let's face it, we know the answer to dealing with people in our lives that aren't good for us is to let them go. We know that, but there's a difference between what you know and what you do based on that knowledge. And the mistake that so many of us fall into is that we think that if we don't do what we know is the right thing to do, then something must be wrong with us. We don't have the willpower, or we're faulty in some way. But that's the furthest thing from the truth. Many times, the reason that you can't do what you know is right for you is that there's still a part of you that's unheard and unseen and neglected by you. A part that says, but I really want to hold on, because if I let go, then I don't know who I am, and I don't know what to fight for, and I don't know how to identify myself. I'm much more comfortable with the identity of somebody who clings on to people and things and hope, which leads us to our very first point. One reason why you can't seem to let them go is hope. Not just for the future, but even when you think back to the way they treated you. There is hope that they didn't actually mean the thing they said. There's hope that they didn't actually mean the thing they did. And if there's hope, then we can rewrite that story in our minds to say, that's not a reason for me to let them go. Maybe there's something I'm misunderstanding. Maybe if I look at the story differently, I don't have to make the decision to let go. All of that is excuse making. It's your mind telling you, we don't have to do the hard thing, letting them go, if we can put a label on what they did or said or didn't do or didn't say as something that's not as bad as it actually is. If I can tell myself the reason they lied to me was genuinely because they're so afraid of losing me, here's a mindset shift for you. If someone is genuinely afraid of losing you, would they do the thing that would lead them to lose you? If somebody is genuinely afraid of losing you, would their fear only be about you finding out about the bad things they're doing that would cause them to lose you? It doesn't make sense, right? If you're afraid of losing me, don't do the thing that will cause me to walk away. Don't go around and do it behind my back and work so hard to hide it from me just so that I don't have the right information that says I'm going to leave. But I'm assuming if you're listening to this, this has happened to you so many times in your life where you have people who have gone around in circles, put so much effort into hiding the truth from you, and what you ended up feeling was confusion. Confusion is a sure way to keep you stuck. Why? Because you don't know if the answer is yes or no. You're in the middle. And as long as you're in the middle, you're looking for clarity. But you're not getting a clear answer. So what do you rely on? Hope. Hope that the answer is what you want it to be. Hope that the answer is yes when you ask yourself, do they really love me? And hope that the answer is no when you ask yourself, are they lying to me? Are they hiding something from me? So your mind will look for confirmations of what you want to be the truth. But at the same time, it's so aware of the information that's around you, the confusion you're feeling, the gut feeling that's inside of you that says something is just off. But people who are really good at hiding the truth of who they are, and people who have the intention of manipulating you, and people who are at the shallow level of human connection where they think, as long as I play games, I'll keep you hooked. those people are very good at keeping you confused. They're very good at keeping you away from seeing the truth for what it is, from seeing them for who they really are, because they know the price that comes with them revealing the truth of who they are. They know the price that comes with them revealing the truth to you about their actions, about the things they choose to do or not do, about the things they promised you that they just ended up saying, oh, well, I really meant that promise, but with time I realized I couldn't really make it come true. They're very good at things like that. And someone like you who really believes people when they tell you something, someone like you who really has a hard time seeing people for the bad versions of themselves that exist, because I say this every single episode, but because you think that your ability to see the bad in someone means that something's wrong with you, that you're a bad person. And we're working on changing that. But someone like you who stops yourself every time you're about to see the bad in someone or believe the bad that someone is showing you is going to put so much energy into excusing the behavior of that person and hoping that in between the lines of the lies, there's a truth that could save them. There's a truth that could save the bond that you have with them. Hope is a double-edged sword. It's so beautiful to have, and it's part of what makes you who you are, and it's part of what gives you this beautiful, positive aura that you have. But at the same time, hope can be extremely destructive when all it wants to do is cover the truth of someone and their behavior and say, forget about all of that. They didn't mean what they said. They didn't mean what they did. There was no bad intention. You can keep this bond going. Hope becomes an illusion when we're so afraid of breaking a bond that we have with someone. And that illusion tells us, as long as you can be selective with what you notice about them and with what you believe about them, you'll be okay. This beautiful thing that you've built with them, this bond that holds the two of you together, it can stay intact. But I need you to remember every single time you fall back into that hope, when you go into the past and you're reliving all the bad things they did, remind yourself that hope can be the reason that you simply feel like you're so stuck and there is no other option than staying attached to who that person was in the past. Hope is going to pull you in a direction that's taking you away from the truth that you know you need to be living in. They did the bad thing. They said the bad thing. They broke your trust. They betrayed you. They cheated on you. They said things about you that you never thought they would say. They manipulated you. Hope tries to keep you away from that. And we don't want that kind of hope. We want the kind of hope that takes us into the future and says, there is hope here, that there are people who mean what they say. There are people who won't lie to you. There are people who won't manipulate you in a way that says, oh, I only lied to you because I knew the truth would make you walk away. There is hope that people are real and genuine and actually care about you. That's the kind of hope we want to hold on to. The second reason that stops you from letting them go is maybe what they did to you was that bad. And maybe what they did to you did hurt that much and took years of your life and played on your understanding of who you are as a person. Maybe what they did to you genuinely shook your foundation as a human being and said, I don't even know if I can trust my own perception. Maybe they gaslit you. Maybe they consistently warped your understanding of yourself and the world around you. Maybe they played games that were just that good, that bad. Maybe that's why you're having a hard time letting go. That's so valid. Just because you can see it now, it doesn't mean that you can just easily let go and say, oh, I see, they were gaslighting me, they were manipulating me, they were playing games, they were, banking on my silence, they targeted me, they targeted my kindness and my goodness, they wanted something from me. Okay, so now you know that, and just because you know that, it doesn't mean that you can easily just move on from it. I always give you this analogy, but if somebody stabbed you in the back, does seeing the blood on the floor and does seeing the knife when you look in the mirror, does all of that mean that you could just easily heal from it? Is it going to suddenly all disappear? No, you still have to heal from what they did to you. So maybe the reason letting go feels like self-abandonment. I know it sounds weird, right? But sometimes making the decision to let someone go and let the pain of what they did to you go feels like you're abandoning yourself, because that pain that they caused is telling you, but you didn't feel us for long enough. You didn't spend long enough advocating for us. You didn't spend long enough being angry that they did what they did to us. It sounds contradictory, but sometimes the decision to let go of them and everything they did feels like you're leaving yourself in the past. And again, that's so valid. You are technically leaving a version of you, the version of you that existed when they did the painful thing, there. But you don't have to do that. Once you recognize it, you can tell yourself, I understand why it feels so hard to let go. Because that pain is demanding of me to be an advocate for myself, to stand up for myself, to say, that hurt. You shouldn't have done that. I didn't deserve that. And you can do that. You can walk with your present self right now, back to that version of you that's still in pain, that's still bleeding, and tell it all the things that it's waiting for you to say. And you can metaphorically stand up for yourself in that moment and make that past version of you feel like they're not alone, like they have somebody who will advocate for them, and that somebody isn't the person who hurt them. And this leads me to the third reason that you might feel like you just can't let them go. And that reason is you're waiting for the person who broke you to come and heal you. You're waiting for their apology. You're waiting for them to realize how bad they treated you. You're waiting for them to realize what they missed out on. You're waiting for them to apologize in a way that's so full of remorse. You're waiting for them to see all the pieces that they scattered you into. And I'm going to tell you, you can spend your whole life waiting for the person who broke you to come and heal you. That's a choice you can make. Why would you make that choice? Sit with that question. Why would you wait for the person who you trusted with every fiber of your being to take care of you and to hold you with care? Why would you wait for them to come and reverse the shattering, reverse the breaking, reverse the destruction that they caused within you? You trusted them not to do that, but they did that. So how have they earned the right to put you back together? How have they earned the right to come and fix what they broke when they had the ability to make the choice to not break you in the first place? What should have happened when they broke you is that they lost the privilege of having access to you. But what happened instead is that you clung onto them even harder because you believe that they are the only ones who can take away the thing that they did to hurt you. Why? Because you're still holding on to a version of them that no longer exists. The version of them that, yes, they contributed to building in your mind. They wanted you to see the best of them. And now they've done the worst, but you're still holding on to the best version of them that you saw. You're waiting for the person who destroyed you to build you back up. You're waiting for the person who caused you such a deep injury to come and stitch you back together. You're waiting for the person who completely destroyed your vision of yourself in the world, destroyed your self-worth, your self-esteem, your strength, your confidence, to come and build those things back up. They already got what they wanted. They broke you. Why would you give them the power to reverse that? There is no reversing that. The only person who can do that is yourself. That's it. Yes, you can rely on other people in your life who genuinely love you and care for you and who want to see you thrive and who want to see you rise and soar. You can absolutely do that. But at the end of the day, you are the one who has to sit with the pain, validate it for yourself, and stop waiting for everyone else around you to tell you, that was that bad. They are a terrible person. I hope they suffer. Or you didn't deserve that. It feels great to hear that from everyone around you. But at the end of the day, you're the one who has to believe it. You're the one who has to actually say those words to yourself in the mirror, metaphorically or physically, and believe it. How many of us have people in our lives who listen to us complain over and over and over and over again, and we never get anywhere? Because we're so stuck on the part where we were hurt, where we want the validation from the outside that it was that bad, but we're not willing to just sit with ourselves and say, wow, that was so terrible. And so we only allow that to happen late at night when we can't fall asleep and there's literally nobody else that we can talk to. So what do we end up doing? We end up distracting ourselves. We go on our phone. We listen to something. We do anything but sit with ourselves. So this is your invitation to sit with yourself. The next episode will be about the 3 things you can do to combat the hope that things were different, to combat the really painful thing that they did to you, to combat waiting for them to come back and fix what they broke. We're going to flesh it out next episode. But what I want you to do for now is genuinely give yourself the opportunity to sit alone in silence. Put your phone in another room and any distraction away from you. Don't sit in a room that has a TV. Don't sit in a room where there's other people. Sit by yourself. Sit for as long as you are able to, where it becomes completely unbearable and you just can't do it anymore. And then the next day, however long that was, sit for just 1 minute longer. And the day after that for 1 minute longer, because you know you can do that. An additional minute isn't going to be the end of the world. And what you're doing when you're training yourself to sit with yourself in silence without any distractions is telling yourself, I can find safety on my own. I don't need the infinite scroll on my phone to feel safe. That's shallow safety. That's safety that's keeping you from feeling the big feelings that are already there waiting for you. The safety of surrounding yourself with people and talking and discussing things, that's another form of avoiding being with yourself and avoiding feeling all the things you know you need to feel. And what happens is you keep delaying the part where you pick yourself back up. You keep delaying the part where you become for yourself what you need from everyone else around you. And you're not delaying it out of weakness. You're delaying it out of fear. You're delaying it out of survival. But when you spend that extra minute with yourself every single day, you're saying, okay, I went a little bit deeper into the water, like a little tiny bit, and I can do it. And then I went a little tiny bit deeper and I can do it, because when you can swim in 5 feet of water and you can swim in really deep waters. But you have to trust yourself. And what you're doing with the little bit of extra time every single day is saying, see, that's not so bad. Instead of just immediately saying, nope, sit with yourself for a whole hour in silence. I can't do that. If I just start today, I wouldn't be able to do that, because a whole hour of silence is too unbearable. And I'm not equipped with the tools to, from day one, know how to manage that silence and know how to manage everything that comes to the surface. So don't be hard on yourself if you're in that situation. Try it today. Even if you're only able to sit with yourself for 2 minutes, that's more than enough for you at this point. And if you want to let me know how long you were able to sit with yourself, leave it in one of the comments somewhere. But for today, what I want you to take home is, when it comes to letting go, that stuckness that you feel is not from a place of lack of motivation. It's not from a place of weakness. It's not from a place of, oh, I'm not a person who knows what they want. Don't shame yourself that way. There is a valid reason. And once you can name it, once you become aware of it, then you can do the things you need to do to say, I'm completely ready to let go right now. That's it. Last episode, I asked you if you wanted me to read an excerpt from The One Who Broke You Can't Heal You. And I'm going to do that right now. I picked a passage that is talking about the importance of having a clean cut when you let go of someone. And I hope it inspires you. And I need you to promise me something. If this piece moves you in some way, you're going to end this video and go pre-order right now. Do I have your promise? Can't hear you say yes, but I know you said yes. Let's begin. Sometimes what stops us from ending certain relationships in our lives is needing for the ending to be a good one. It is wanting to have the last word. It is wanting to end on top. But life doesn't work that way. Especially for bonds that are messy, you can't expect the ending to be perfect. You have to be willing to put an end to what hurts you, not only when the pain becomes too much, but also when you decide. Don't prioritize a peaceful ending over your peace. If the situation you are ending is chaotic, the ending itself might be chaotic. If the situation you're ending is messy, the ending itself might also be messy. The more you play in the mud, the muddier you will become. Get yourself out, get yourself cleaned, and keep yourself out. You need a clean cut. And that means releasing your control of the narrative and your grip on the bond. Sometimes what keeps us entangled long after a bond has become harmful isn't love. It's the need for the ending to look a certain way, to be understood, to be justified, to be seen as reasonable, kind, or right. We stay bonded, waiting for the moment when the other person finally gets it. When the bond ends with clarity, dignity, and closure wrapped neatly around us. But life doesn't offer that kind of symmetry, especially in broken bonds. You don't get to choreograph a graceful ending with someone who thrived on imbalance. You don't get to loosen or cut a bond gently when it was held together by chaos. And you don't get to protect your peace while remaining tied to something that feeds on disorder. So stop waiting for the perfect ending. Sever the bond because it hurts. Sever it because you've decided. Sever it before the damage is permanent. I'm only pausing because I'm getting emotional. Oof. Do not prioritize a peaceful ending over your peace. If the bond is chaotic, the separation may be chaotic. If the bond is confusing, the ending may have questions unanswered. That is not failure on your part. It's just reality. In your attempt to have a peaceful ending, you continue to engage with them just to soften the break. You continue to explain yourself to someone who has already shown you they will misinterpret you. You continue to revisit the same conversations in hopes that the bond might finally dissolve on its own, that it will loosen. But the more you stay entangled, the more you lose your stability. So step out. Unbind yourself, and then protect that peace. Do not reattach to clarify. Do not re-engage to defend your decision. Do not return to manage their feelings at the expense of your own healing. A clean cut is not cruelty. It is discernment. It is you choosing yourself without asking the bond or them for permission. You are not responsible for how the bond is remembered. You are responsible for the life you build once you are no longer bound by it. And sometimes the most self-respecting ending is not the one that looks good. It's the one that finally sets you free. What do you think of this excerpt? So the reason I got so emotional reading this to you is because, believe me when I tell you, these writings didn't come out of nowhere. I'm not just preaching to you. I know what it feels like to hold on because the way that the ending is unfolding feels like it goes against my beliefs for how nice and kind and soft things should be. How many times have you heard yourself telling someone, but I just want us to end on good terms. I want things to be good between us. If you're like that, then you get this. Sometimes you think if the ending isn't calm and peaceful and we have no ill will against each other and we have nothing bad to say about each other, we still have all this love, then it's the wrong ending. Like, sometimes the reason you need to end something is that there is no way it could ever end in peace. And that tells you everything you need to know about the nature of the relationship that you have with this person. How many times do you find yourself pleading with someone, why can't we just be good with each other. Like, I want peace. How many times do you find yourself not being able to fathom the possibility that that person is no longer in your life, only because the moment they sense an ending coming, they will unleash so much chaos on you and so much confusion and so much anger that you just forget about your need to put that thing to rest. You forget that you needed to have that conversation. You forget because now you're just worried about getting them back to a peaceful place. If you resonate with these words, you need to read The One Who Broke You Can't Heal You. You need to immerse yourself in the understanding that your nature as a person is not something that you can expect from everyone around you. Just because you want to have good connections with everyone in your life, it doesn't mean that everyone in your life wants to have a good connection with you. Just because you don't hold grudges or you don't want to hold grudges, it doesn't mean that everyone in your life is the same. Some people like chaos and some people like to hold grudges. Some people love being angry. It gives them something that fuels them. Some people love having animosity towards other people in their life. Some people love to hold on to the victim mentality of everyone in my life has wronged me, including you. And you're coming in and you're like, but not me. I don't want to hurt you. But if someone's definition of hurting them is that you went against what they want for you, that doesn't mean that you've intended to hurt them. It means that they're stuck to a definition of what it means for somebody to hurt them that makes sense only to them. It's not your responsibility to break yourself to keep them whole. It's time for Words That Found Me. These words are by Jean-Paul Sartre. I hope I'm saying the name right. I hate victims who respect their executioners. How powerful is that? I don't hate anyone, but I understand the message. If you respect the person who hurt you, in a way you are saying that they're validated in hurting you. Because we give respect to people who have a good value system, to people who have good judgment, to people who have discernment. And if you are choosing to respect somebody who chose to cause you pain, then you are choosing that their view of you and the fact that they're willing to see you as someone who deserves to be hurt in that way, you're seeing that as valid. So you're partaking in your own pain. You're telling them it was okay that you did that. So logically speaking, you might tell me, but I don't respect the person who hurt me. Maybe logically that's true. But what do your actions show? Do you still wait for them to come and apologize? You're still giving them some power. Do you still wait for them to acknowledge what they did to you? You're still giving them some power. Do you still genuinely believe that you cannot move on unless you see them suffer? You're still giving them a lot of power. Some people don't think there's a difference between respecting someone and seeing them as powerful. Some people don't know the difference between those two. So if you give someone power over your own healing, they see it as respect. And it's true, we don't care about how they see us and how they see the world anymore. But you do care, don't you? Because you're waiting for them to come and change everything. That stops today, and it stops in every moment that you're tempted to daydream about them changing their mind. Every time you find yourself drifting into the hope that things could have been different. Every time you find yourself checking up on them and hoping that things just change, you make the decision to say, I'm not waiting for them anymore. And you say it as many times as you need to until you get to a point where it becomes your second nature. You don't even have to say it out loud anymore. You choose the sentence you want to say. I'm not waiting for them to come back anymore. The one who broke me can't heal me. Only I can heal me. Choose your mantra. Choose your sentence. And make sure that sentence brings you back to yourself and takes back the power you've given them and puts it back in your hands. If this episode helped you in any way, please share it with someone, listen to it again, make sure that you pre-order The One Who Broke You Can't Heal You, leave a review, leave a comment, engage in some way. This is your way of telling the world, this is what I believe in, and this deserves to be heard everywhere. I hope this episode helped you find healing beyond words, and until next time, have a wonderful day.